I was wrong in doing what I did.
No! Are you listening?
We all hate Lorne. Sean here. But one thing I wouldn't wish on anybody, I would never wish on anybody, is being lured into a cult. And we're going to talk about whether or not Lorne Lynn Armstrong is vulnerable, is likely, is susceptible to the programming of a cult, and what kind of cult he would join. The first thing you have to be able to do is identify your persuaders. You have to identify people who have targeted you, and be able to understand what they're doing, what kind of language they're using. Lorne almost uses these techniques with these catfish women. Now, they don't work because we're normal people. Lorne is vulnerable all of the time, and I don't think he's smart enough to understand what's going on. I don't understand what's going on. His need for acceptance, his need for love and for attention, he is prime. He is a prime candidate to be lured into a cult. He doesn't know how to do the second most important thing, which is to fend them off. To be able to push them away, get them away. Some people will just give in. Okay, I'll try it. I went to one of these bonkers churches, these lunatic churches that and they start speaking in tongues. And I've even been to a church with snakes. I did it out of curiosity. If you want to do it, just head down to Eastern Kentucky. There was a church in Hazard, Perry County. Go down there, you'll be able to find one. Or go up to one of these small churches up in the mountains. I used to travel, I think I told you guys this, out of curiosity. I traveled to it. I can't even remember what the number was. I tried to think the other day because I think I gave the number before and it wasn't correct. I think it was like 79 or something like that. It was a time in my life I was just trying to see what was out there. Jewish temple, mostly insane Southern Baptist churches, because God will tell you, and you must give 10%. I don't think Lorne would like that. He doesn't like to be preached to. He doesn't want to learn. He wants to be told. So he's going to need somebody that speaks to him as if he's a child. You can't scream at Lorne because he shuts down. I could never stay in a church. I was told one time, I think I mentioned this before, to go to this church. This guy, he's like Joel Osteen. And I go there, and he's hammer fisting the pulpit, crying on cue. I was out of there. But some people get addicted to it. They need it. My ideal church would be walking in. Somebody's up there. They're talking to you. They're talking to you about real life. They're being realistic about the Bible. They're talking about its inconsistencies, what's important and what's not, and so on and so forth. That might be my weakness. I mean, if I started a church, that's what I would do. Get up there and talk like I'm talking right now and try to relate to people. But I don't think Lorne could survive because he would want to be the center of attention. Now, we know he would jump into a choir. So if they found out that he was a singer, I hear Scientology stories all the time. And this is why I think it cost so much money, Lorne couldn't afford it. But they come up, they find out what you're doing. Oh, that's great. Scientology can help you achieve your dreams. And before you know it, you're being told that's unrealistic. You're not good enough anyway. Why don't you join the Sea Org? Or why don't you join one of these offices? And you can help the planet. Give up those foolish dreams. An 18-year-old girl once told someone, all my life I wanted to be a singer. And the description was that her eyes were dead. There was just nothing behind them. I wanted to be a singer, but I decided to join the Sea Org to clear the planet. An 18-year-old girl convinced to give up her dreams to serve a cult. When you're rushed or when you're fatigued, exhausted, when you're uninformed, which is Lorne. Lorne would be looking for one thing and one thing only. Are there any women in there, and are they paying attention to me? And they could figure this out. They could figure it out. They watch him. If he's looking at these women, Lorne, you would love, come on in, have one of them talk to him. He would just jump right in there. You have to give up all your possessions, sell whatever you have, and give it to the cult. Lorne would see status and power in these women. And when you're dealing with somebody who's sucked into a cult, status and power means everything. Tom Cruise in Scientology. A lot of these mega churches, because they were on TV. If they're on TV, they've got status and power, and I can be associated with them. You're kind of in awe of these people. That's why I saw Chris Rock. I was traveling. This was a long time ago. I was in the Marine Corps. I was traveling home, and Chris Rock gets off the plane. And I remember just, my eyes were wide open, and I didn't rush up and say hi to him or anything, but he waved to us. We were in uniform. He waved to us, which I thought was pretty cool. And we all talked about it. And Kevin Costner, when they were filming Waterworld, where they were in Hawaii, we were on, I guess you would call it, security duty, not for them. We were on maneuvers, drill, whatever you call it, whatever branch you were in. Training is what we called it. And he came over and he spoke with the majors and the colonels, and we all had food because he came over and did that. And of course, we would have been in awe, yes, when the president was there and we were on security duty, and he drove by and he stopped and he saluted us and we saluted him back. I was looking Bill Clinton dead in the face. And it was a moment I'll never forget because I was in awe of his status and his power. Those are strong methods you can use to pull people into your cult. The woke cult that's going on right now. I'm not talking about progressives like myself. I'm talking about these insane psychos. It's about clout. It's about belonging. It's about feeling that you're doing something that no one else knows about. You're the only ones that can make the change. And it's collapsing. But some of these cults are clever. Some of these cults out there, they know how to keep themselves going. Scientology is dying off, but there are others that are still growing. And if you're a Jehovah's Witness, I apologize in advance. That is 100% a cult. Mormons, cult. Any place that you can get shunned or removed, basically disconnected, it's a cult. But I can't make you see that because you have... Why can't you see that? It's because you've been raised in that environment. Lorne, thankfully, for the cult's sake, was not raised in that environment. At least I don't think so. He was a one-man cult, I think. Darkside Phil, he's got a cult. People who will accept abuse, lies, they will do anything to see their name on screen, to hear him say their name. The first time I was watching Gathalion, I sent him a super chat. It was my first super chat ever. And to hear him say my name, I was like, oh, cool. Now looking back, I'm like, I paid because I wanted to hear him say my name. And it is shameful and it's embarrassing, but it's the truth, so I did it. If I like you as a content creator, I'll help you. I'll give you money because I want you to stay on air. If I know that you're not doing something like live shows and you're just putting out content and there's a super thanks button, I will likely hit the super thanks button. Because I want this to keep going. It's entertaining and I value it. It's like going to movies. Status, power, and if they have something you want or need, specifically emotionally, if you're easily persuaded, you're headed in. All it takes is a vagina and Lorne is in. Periods of personal crisis, prime candidates, specifically in younger people, bad breakup, a divorce, people who are emotionally vulnerable. Once you talk to them as a prospect and you find out what they're struggling with, you make promises. You let them know all you have to do is join, and guess what? You're going to be just fine. We're going to take care of you. I was in the same boat. Sympathetic. I was in the same boat. Lorne, we have people in here that dealt with things like you did who were wronged by people like NBC, because in actuality, a lot of them, they just want money. And some people, they don't care who follows them. They just want followers. You're talked about as a valuable team member. You start off, you're love bombed, and you have no idea what's in store for you. You have no idea what happens when you eventually become a vital part of the team. I need you to do this one thing that you would never do unless you were coerced. Eventually, a lot of these cult members, it used to be really young people. It was easy to bring them in. They didn't know shit about the world. And you could just show them the world, your world. And they might jump in. I'm not saying they're weak. I'm saying they're vulnerable. Before you know it, you're in an abusive relationship with this cult. You have to do what they say. Well, I got to sleep with your wife. I'm Jesus. So many of these people, I'm Jesus. But a lot of them, you just become a part of the group. And that collective belief, the collective devotion, you want to keep up with everyone else. You want to maintain your good standing. And you may even be coerced into having a spouse that you didn't want, that you would never have chosen on your own, someone that you see all of the warning signs of an abuser, and Lorne would thrive there. Well, we're going to pair you with Lorne. We think you're a good match. You'd be good for the team if you two were together. Imagine what you could accomplish. You don't have to love him. You'll grow to love him. But we're doing this for the betterment of all of us. How insane is it that nowadays people in their 30s, 40s, all the way up to their 60s are joining these cults? They're looking for purpose. They're in a midlife crisis. They're headed to the end of their life, and they want meaning. They want to know the answers, and these cults promise you the answers. I'm going to tell you what happens in the afterlife. I'm going to tell you that you're going to die and be reincarnated, and eventually you'll become gods after an amount of time. I mean, it's crazy. But the power of belief, the prison of belief, as they call it, it's so strong. And before you know it, you're only allowed to believe what they want you to believe. And you have become them. Your identity is stripped away, and you become the founder. You become like the person who started it all, because their rules, regulations, values, morals, ethics, it's all passed down because they wrote the policies. People who disagree, people who want to go against the status quo, contrarians, gullible people. People need that spiritual meaning. And I don't think Lorne, he doesn't want spiritual. He wants material, and he wants sexual. Lorne has a lack of self-confidence. He puts up that bullshit bravado, but we know he's only going to take what shows up in front of him. Because if it shows up in front of him, that means it showed up in front of him for a reason. And these cult members, they approach Lorne. Wow, these people you must really like me if you want to try to recruit me into a cult. They'd approach him, and he'd be like, wow, these are the first people that have approached me. And that girl was kind of good looking. Lorne, please focus on us, please. We're talking to you. But that girl over there, man, I saw her. She was eyeballing me. She wants me. Lorne doesn't pay enough attention to the outside world to even have an opinion. He doesn't pay enough attention to become disillusioned, disenfranchised, whatever you want to call it. And he just wants to escape to somewhere that he feels gets it. They really get it. The rest of society are nothing but sheep, corporate sheep, NPCs, just people who live on TikTok and Twitter. That's not the way to live. I want to go live away from everything in this commune, in this little city that we all live together in perfect harmony. I'm going to ignore all the bells and the warning signs. I'm just going to join you anyway. You have to be led. Most people don't choose to be in a cult. They are led. They are groomed. Lorne is so easy to be led. He's so easy because if he wants to do it, you don't have to convince him. He's going to go along with the fact that you're a porn star and that you're virgin-ass bitch boy Rod. He's going to go along with all of that because that's where he wants to be. And all of that negative, it's proof, all of that negative stuff, I hate it, but I want this porn star. I want this meaning in my life. I want this destination because I have to have it because it's the only thing I can get, and they're showing interest in me. If you're new in town, of course, we know Lorne can never move, but if you're new in town, I mean, the next thing you know, you're talking to one of these people, and they're offering you a job. They're offering you a purpose. Your room and board is going to be paid for, And you think to yourself, I can escape from here. Lorne's small town. He doesn't have contact with the outside world that much. You get one of these people that says, Lorne, hey, we're going to set up over here and where your trailer is because it's out of the way. We need you to turn this. We need to let us help you turn this into some kind of little bitty commune, and we're all going to live out here. Lorne would feel important. He would sign over his house. Well, Lorne, we can't really make any changes because it's in your name. We need this trailer. And eventually they might tear it down. As Lorne sobbed, fucking Uncle Clay. People who join cults, they're not weird or stupid or strange or odd or psycho. These are people just like us who are in a vulnerable spot in their life, who may be searching for something and we can't find it anywhere, but we can find it there. Lorne would never have to worry about his forced wife. They would be together all of the time because cult members can't leave. They're not allowed to look at the internet most of the time. They're not allowed to do this. They're not allowed to do that. And like Jehovah's Witness, if there are child sexual abuse allegations, you don't go to the police. You go to an elder and they ask them, hey, did this happen? Nah, I never touched that girl. Think about Lorne in that environment. Think about what he could do. Or Molester Beck. Or some of these guys that could get away with this because, hey, Elder Molester Beck, did you do this? Nope, never touched the girl. All right, we good. I would be stupid not to mention the fact that Mr. Penis fell for all those scams. He's not capable of making good decisions. He's not capable of steering clear of that type of deceptive behavior, manipulative behavior. When you can out-manipulate Lorne Armstrong, you're good. If you're in 88, you graduated 88 out of 88, and Lorne graduated 87, then maybe he has a shot. But you could take him anywhere. Promise of money, promise of power, promise of checks. That they would pinpoint, boom, this is his weak point. Let's build it. They might record what you say about sex. They might get you to open up, if you're Lorne, about your charge, about what you did, your conviction, your fantasies. They might do that, and they might record it, or they might have everything written down. I would say they videotape it. Lorne, this is for your own good. We're going to record it, and when you need to, you can watch it back. But he'll never watch it back, and it'll be stored. And if Lorne ever goes out and tries to expose them, that will be posted on the internet. You stay or we ruin your life. Lorne doesn't have anybody in his life to help talk him out of it. He doesn't have anybody to say, hey man, what are you doing? But a lot of times, by the time somebody joins a cult, they don't want to listen to anybody else. They don't need to hear anybody else's opinion. They've made up their mind. You're a grown adult, Lorne. You don't have to listen to these people. You make your own decisions, and we know you're making the right one for you, not for them. So do I think he could be lured into a cult? 100%. Do I think any cults would come after him? No. He doesn't have any money. He doesn't have any power. No status whatsoever. And the only thing he has is infamy for being a pedo. And I'm not sure if they'd be able to use that to their advantage. Unless they were like, look, we took this guy and look at him now. He's thriving. He's working as a baker. He's working planting crops for us. We gave him purpose. We changed him because only we have the tools to make you better. How easy would it be to just look at Lorne and go, you're so much better. Look at you now. You're so much better than you were. You're in a better place. You belong here, Lorne. And he's there for the rest of his life. I don't know if he could take the food. And if they figured if we give this guy some alcohol, and see, Lorne could drop off the grid. If they give this guy some alcohol, we could just let him drink every night and he's going to stay. Now, if his behavior becomes unruly, there are punishments. And Lorne would be subjected to those punishments more often than not, hitting on every woman there, checking out all the young girls, possibly talking to them, trying to use his status and power in the cult to get what he wants. And in some cults, that's acceptable. Those weird sex cults that celebrities have joined, and then, what's done in the dark is brought to the light. They're out there. And if Lorne could find one where he could do whatever he wanted sexually and get 50 years of being a virgin out of the way, he would probably do it. And they would know, let's pinpoint that weakness and let's exploit it. Again, Lorne would join a cult, but I don't think any cult wants him unless he was to do grunt work, and I'm okay with that. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.